If you're seeing this video, I know it sounds weird, but that means something. It means that you're waking up more and more every single day, that as you progress in your journey, you're getting a clearer and clearer understanding of who you are. And isn't that just like the coolest process? If you're seeing this, it's because you shifted. Another huge shift in the chain reaction of shifts playing out in your life. And one of the first things that happen when we shift is we notice that reality literally feels and looks different. It's the difference between swimming in a pool that's made of jello or cement that's about to dry versus water where you can just take a breath and sit back and you float, that you've got this buoyancy, this lightness to you. As you shift, you'll feel these differences in density. And I know that you've been extremely focused lately. And again, I know it sounds weird to just have some random guy on YouTube telling you these things. But the fact of the matter is I know that you know as well as I do that we're the same. We're in different avatars, but that we're the same, you and I. And so I hope that you'll be willing to let me reflect some things to you that I know you already know today. They're incredibly powerful, and they have the potential to expedite your success on your journey far more than you could possibly imagine. Now, the fact of the matter is that oftentimes when we shift and things feel a lot more malleable, when it feels like we're swimming in water, and this is just an analogy, by the way, to help you understand that there's really a different feeling to the movement in reality, behind your thoughts, behind your actions, behind actual movement. There's a difference. Now, oftentimes when we shift and things feel easier and lighter and we have more energy, we decide that we had a really awesome shift and that we're closer to our goal, and we get really pumped about it. But what happens when we shift and we wake up in a reality where suddenly we're swimming in almost dry cement? What we immediately feel is shock, and we can become upset and scared that, is it possible that I'm going backwards? Is it possible that I'm failing, that my shifting isn't paying off and it's not working? And what I'd like to reflect to you today is that no, if you shift and you feel that the density of reality is harder to move through, congratulations, because the fact of the matter is that it's actually the decisions you make in this density where things feel harder. It's the decisions you make in this harder space where you might feel a little bit more pressure on yourself, where you might feel a little bit more tired, where you might feel confused, where you might be questioning some things. But what you got to know, and I know that you already do, is that you're doing an amazing job. And it's actually in this very density of reality where things are harder and more challenging and you feel more confused that you are in your most powerful position. Because it is quite honestly the decisions you make in this space that actually create the biggest shifts in your life. For example, 2 people were taken into a prison camp. And what ended up happening is they were both tortured brutally. This is a true story, and I'm just gonna briefly share this with you, 15 seconds. They were brutally, it was a horrible, very hard experience. One of them committed suicide in the prison. They were in there for 7 years. The other one came out and said it's the best thing that has ever happened to them in their entire life. What's the difference between these 2 people? Well, one person, understandably, yielded to the challenges of that time and decided that they could not deal with it and they could not cope. I personally don't know what that would be like, so I can't speak to that. What I do know is that the person who came out and was even more in alignment with themselves, even more awake, even more in their power, saying that that's the most powerful experience that's ever happened to them. What I do know is that that person is amazing. And I know that you wouldn't be here even perceiving me sharing this story with you if you weren't also that same amazing. It just wouldn't be possible. That's not how our universe works. You are that same amazing. It does not matter what challenges life presents to you. It does not matter when you wake up into a reality that feels harder to move through. The fact of the matter is that it's in that time where you communicate to yourself well and clearly, and it really, really pays off big for you. When we're in that shifting space where everything's really malleable and easy, and I know you've been feeling that a lot lately, I have been too. When we're in that space, the decisions we make, that's like a really powerful time to take massive action, right? If you're a YouTuber like me, that's a great time to make tons and tons of videos, create all kinds of events, all kinds of stuff, just really bust it out. What do you do when you wake up and suddenly things feel harder and more challenging? This is the most important time to take massive what? Action, yes, but internal action. This is the most powerful and important time to make tons of internal action in your life. That means going inward. And I'm going to explain that in a moment and share a really powerful technique with you that you can use to align yourself again with the malleability, with the power, with the feeling of ease that is your natural state to be in. But first, what I would like to communicate to you again is something you already know, and it's that you are insanely powerful. And I know that things may go on in your life that are challenges and things might feel hard and you might feel good some days and bad some other days. But what really matters most is the overarching decision that you make for your life about who you are, what is possible for you, and what you're going to do with the power you have throughout your life. Period. So I have a simple question for you that I'd like for you to reflect on before we get into the technique I'm going to share with you. It's simple. Who are you? What do you genuinely believe is possible for you in your life? And what are you willing to do in your life to make that a reality? What are you willing to do? Are you willing to move forward on that path unconditionally no matter what? If you'd like to pause the video and really contemplate and communicate this with yourself, I highly encourage you to do so. Did you pause it? I'm serious. If you take massive action right now and you actually do this, you will be mind blown at what you experience. Go ahead, pause it and then come back. Welcome back. Now, if you don't know who you are, and that's super confusing to you, then I'd recommend to check out this video in the cards at the end. But for the sake of the fact that I already made that video, let's move to the second part. What do you believe is possible for you to accomplish in your life? The fact of the matter is that if you believe that you're limited, if you believe that there's not much that you can do to really accomplish incredibleness for yourself, then the fact of the matter is that you will be limited. Not because your beliefs have some power that's going to create some huge cloud that takes away your ability to succeed in life, but because those beliefs cloud your ability to see clearly in front of you. The beliefs that you have influences the decisions that we make in our lives. Said differently, a lot of people believe that their beliefs create their reality. There's a lot of information going around out there. I'm not necessarily saying that's wrong, but I'd like to share with you a more accurate depiction from what I've experienced, and I think that you will resonate with this and understand the clarity of it a lot better and be able to use it a lot better too. It's not our beliefs that create our reality. It's the decisions that we make that create our reality. Every day we're making decisions. We're making decisions. Every decision we make, we are aligning ourselves with a certain path. However, your beliefs do influence your decision. The state that you're in does influence the decision that you make. For example, if you're in a grumpy, negative space and somebody walks by you at the grocery store and smiles and goes, "Oh," and tries to talk to you, you'll just pass it off and keep walking because you're grumpy and not feeling well. You're in a lower state. If you're in a really good state and you feel really good, what's going to happen? You'll probably humor it and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And you may be talking to the very person that is the next step in your career or your future romantic partner. Like, you just don't know. So the fact of the matter is, it's the decisions that we make that create our reality, but the state that we're in, the beliefs that we have about what's possible for us influences the way we make decisions. If I believe that skydiving is super liberating and super fun, then I'm going to skydive. If you believe that skydiving is extremely dangerous and you could die and it's not worth it, then you'll make the decision not to go. It's the decision not to go and my decision to go that is what's creating our life. Not the beliefs, not the state we're in, the decisions. The fact of the matter is that you still have the very power of God right now, no matter what state that you're in, no matter what your beliefs are. The ability to make a decision. If you have a limiting belief that's holding you back, if you do not believe that you're capable of experiencing an incredible life for yourself, plain and simple, period, here's my single statement for you. Make a decision to let go of those beliefs. Make a decision to do whatever it takes. Look up some videos on YouTube about how to let go of limiting beliefs, right? Find some books. Tune into more of my content about it, whatever you want. Make a decision to do that. And what you got to understand is you are immediately putting the power of God in the universe. It immediately starts conspiring to make that happen for you. Every time you make a decision, I make a decision, I'm going to make a video, everything comes together and starts pushing me towards that. I make a decision that I'm just going to lay in bed all day, everything comes together and puts that forward. So the fact of the matter is, do you know who you are and do you know what you want? If you do, your next step is to make decisions that actually make that a reality and make that happen. Plain and simple. If you want to be a public speaker, why are you not public speaking right now? You need to make decisions to start doing that so that you can get better at it and you can practice and become really, really good and get that experience under your belt. Stop waiting for tomorrow for everything to work out and realize that you are the very power right now that will make that tomorrow a reality. Period. Plain and simple. That's how powerful you are. That's how simple the mechanics of reality truly are. There's all this information out there that makes it seem all huge and confusing. It's really simple. The decisions you make create your reality. You make decisions every day. You can make a decision to keep watching this video and learn the technique I'm about to share with you, or you can make the decision to click off and go watch, I don't know, SpongeBob or something, which is a great show. But my point is that we're always making decisions, and those decisions create who we are. So you are not a victim to external circumstances. Is it true that some people are born with more advantages and some are born with disadvantages? Absolutely. Some people are born into an abusive family. Some people are born into a family with tons of money that just give them everything they want. And yet someone who's born into tons of money could lose all of it and become a raging drug addict and have horrible relationships. And someone who is born in an abusive family becomes a super inspirational speaker with tons of best-selling books and speaks to millions of people and helps them and is a billionaire. It's the decisions we make with our situations. Our situations don't define us. It's the decisions we make in those situations. So look, I know you've been shifting, and what we need to understand, you and me, as professional shifters, and yes, I'm genuinely calling you a professional shifter. You are a pro at it. You've been doing this for an eternity. For an eternity. You will be doing this for the rest of eternity also. You will be shifting nonstop. So you're a pro. The fact is, are you aware that you're a pro, or are you asleep to the fact that you're a pro? I think you're awake to it. I think you know that you literally are a time-traveling, shifting professional, a multidimensional, eternal, undying being with the power of the universe at their very fingertips in this very reality at this very moment. Now, what do you and I need to accept as shifters to live a fulfilling life? In my personal opinion, one of the biggest things we need to accept as pro shifters is change. Things are always going to be changing in our lives because we are always shifting, because it's what we love to do. It's who we are at our core. We love to experience more and more and more. We love to constantly change and grow. So we have to accept that things are always going to be changing. The way you feel, the way you think, the way the trees look, I mean, even the seasons in the universe, your relationships, things at your job, things are always going to be changing. We need to accept that we don't have control over all of those things. But what we do have absolute control over is our ability to communicate clearly with ourselves. We know who we are, so no matter what change is here right now in this new reality I've shifted to, no matter what circumstances are here, I have the clear communication with myself of the decisions that I'm going to make to stay on that path. Does that make sense? I'm sure that it does for you. I know how smart you are. If you have any questions, though, of course, you could tag it below. Now, before we jump into this next technique, I want to let you know I've got a really exciting event coming up this very Saturday. You can learn about it in the description below. We're doing live events now every month, and you can also check out the other services of Vibes and Frequencies if you'd like to. Now, let's jump into the technique. This is a powerful shifting technique because no matter where you shift to in the kaleidoscope of our multidimensional universe, there's something that always remains the same. You could make a decision to tune into that shifting power within you so that you are in absolute control of where you go next. Accept and surrender to what is here right now, but also accept and surrender to the fact that you are in charge of what happens next. Based on what? The decisions that you make. Here's what we're going to do right now. We are going to tune into an extremely high-level consciousness together. An extremely high-level consciousness that will give you the ability to be in an absolute state of power, because sometimes we do accidentally, unconsciously shift to a state of not being in power. This technique I'm going to share with you will always unconditionally activate your power again for you. So let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and find a nice seat to sit in. Lay down whatever feels most comfortable to you. We're going to close our eyes and we're going to put our hand over our heart. And we're going to breathe. Just relax. Feel the presence of just being here right now in this moment. You might feel amazing. You might feel like you had a hard day and are stressed. Both feelings are very valid right now. Feel them and keep breathing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to tune our attention for just 15 seconds to fully focus on our breath. Meaning, just be super hyper aware of the air coming into your lungs and coming out. That's all that means. Just be super aware of it. A lot of times we're only aware about our thoughts. We're just like a scuba diver fully dove into the ocean of our thoughts. It's okay to still have thoughts during this. Just be aware of your breath at the same time. So if thoughts come up, that's okay. Still pay attention to your breath. Just redirect your focus. Here we go. Now that you have an awareness of your breath, as well as your thoughts, now we're also going to open up a door to awareness of the sounds around us. So listen to the sound of the wind blowing, or perhaps someone cooking in the kitchen of your house, or perhaps the silence in your room, or the creaking of the chair you're sitting in. Just listen. You still are being aware of your breath. You still see your breath happening. Now you're also inviting in an awareness of the sound at the same time. Here we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to maintain that awareness of our breath and the sounds around us. And if your thoughts come up, you don't fully dive into them, you just let them be, and you maintain focus on the other two, the breath and the sound. But now what we're going to do is we're also going to open our eyes together. Now open your eyes and begin to look at an object. Pick a single object in your room or space you're in and stare at it. As you stare at it, see the blurry peripheral all around it, but maintain a full awareness of the whole space you're looking at, while having an awareness of the breath, while having an awareness of the sound. Just stare at the object. Now you can move your eyes around the room, or wherever you are, from object to object, maintaining the awareness of the breath, the sound, and allowing the thoughts to be, if they are. Do you feel that presence? This is called mindfulness. And you can activate this anytime, anywhere, by just walking away from whatever you're doing, taking a seat, and doing this exact practice for however long you want. What happens when we do this is we immediately activate an awareness of our consciousness. As we do this and we're very present, because most times we're just obsessed in our mind. All we are is thought. But the fact of the matter is there's so many other layers and dimensions to reality. There's sound, there's smell, there's sight. And we're missing all of that because it's like our head is like just kind of shoved up the butt of our mind. So as you open the door to new levels of awareness, there's an internal kind of dial within you that's shifting and shifting you more and more into a reality of you being in power. And that shifting happens instantly. That's why you can feel that there's a density shift in your reality again now, that there's a vibrational shift, that there's a presence. It's called mindfulness. So now that we're mindful, we are now in a state of power. What I like to do in my state of power, and I won't tell you what to do, is now that I'm mindful, I like to be heartful personally. This is when I put my hand over my heart and I focus on compassion and love for myself, for my family, for this space I'm in, for the roof over my head, for the food on my plate, for you, my compassion for others, my love for helping other people. This is what I do. Do what's right for you. I'm just letting you know that's what I do. And it yields incredible results in my life. Because no matter where I'm torn over here or ups and downs, or sometimes I don't feel well, I'm a human, literally. I go through the same stuff as you, I promise. The difference is that I don't let the things that happen in my life be in charge of what happens next. I decide what happens next. I am always the one who makes decisions. No one else and nothing else can make decisions for me. Only I can do that. That's the only difference. So I constantly make the decision to be anchored in my heart and to be mindful. And it gives me the ability to create an incredible reality with the most insane power at my fingertips that I never knew was possible. And it's not all woo-woo far out there. It's very simple. It's very easy. Wake up. Wake up. That's all it's ever been. Wake up, remember who you are, and make decisions from that place. And watch what happens. Genuinely, guys, I am more excited for this Saturday event coming up than anything I've ever done. That's why I'm going to keep mentioning it, because it's going to be awesome. Check out the description. I'm going to pin a comment at the top of this to let you know a little bit more about it. If you feel called to, I really, really know that you are going to have a massive breakthrough with me and 49 others. Check it out. Much love to you. I'll see you for the next video. Keep it real, fellow shifters. Keep it real, keep it genuine, keep it compassionate, and keep it soft. I'll explain more in the next video. Peace out. Much love. See ya.